Hello, dear students. Welcome to the session. So we were solving the problems on journal bearing of first type, where the diameter of the journal is given. So now let us take another example, which is asked in one of the previous year question papers, say December 2011. So design a journal bearing to withstand. So you have to design the journal bearing to withstand a load of 5886 Newton. So W, that is what the radial load, 5886 newtons, that is given, and the speed of the journal is given here as 1000 rpm. The journal is made of hardened steel, so the material used for the journal or the shaft is hardened steel, that is given, and the bearing material is also specified here, and bearing is made of babbitt material. The operating temperature is 70 degrees centigrade and ambient temperature is 30 degrees centigrade. That is nothing but T naught is 70 degrees centigrade and TA, that is room temperature or ambient temperature, is 30 degrees centigrade. Check the design for thermal equilibrium and determine the power loss at the bearing. So we have to check the thermal equilibrium, means we have to calculate heat generated as well as heat dissipated from the bearing, and also we have to check whether the artificial cooling is required or not here. And after that, we have to go for the determination of power loss at the bearing, that is nothing but the amount of heat generated in the bearing. And after that, the lubricant used is of grade SAE 40. So SAE 40 is given here, the name of the oil or the lubricant, and L by D ratio, length of the bearing divided by diameter of the journal, is given as 1.5. So here L is greater than diameter, hence it is a long bearing. Now let us note down the given information which are noted already. So oil is SAE 40. So name of the oil is given, means the value of absolute viscosity that is not given. So in the beginning, or with respect to the very first step, we have to calculate the absolute viscosity or dynamic viscosity. So to find the dynamic viscosity, we have to follow the step number 3 of general design procedure. So step number 3 of general design procedure, that includes the selection of oil. So selection of oil is either based upon the given name of the oil, or we have to uh, calculate, or we have to determine, or we have to identify the name of the oil with the known viscosity. So here viscosity itself is to be determined, hence name of the oil is given, that is a C40 grade oil. Now at the first case, or at the very first stage, we have to refer table number 15.1 of data handbook, and there we have to identify SE40 oil refers to which curve or which line. So SE40, that refers to uh, G line, where in the figure number 15.3. So that also we have to consider, right? So before going for that figure number 15.3, we have to refer table number 15.1, page number 363, and SA40 oil, means that refers to line B or curve B. So that is what the name of the curve. And also we have to note down the value of another parameter which is there in the same table, which is called as specific gravity, and that specific gravity of the oil, which is noted here at a 15 degree centigrade. So this is also another important parameter. So if it is multiplied by the weight density or mass density of a standard fluid, say for this the standard fluid is water, so the mass density of water for this particular liquid is 1000, so it is to be multiplied by 1000, so that we will be getting the mass density or weight density of the SE40 oil. So that is required while calculating the absolute viscosity. Now let us take the let us refer the figure 15.3 of page number 352 of the data handbook, and operating temperature is given here as 70 degrees centigrade, and curve G is referring to the oil SE40. So with respect to this particular graph here, with respect to top abscissa, that refers to temperature, which is operating temperature, and right side ordinate, The right side of the ordinate that refers to the kinematic viscosity, which is expressed in centistoke, and the name of that viscosity is kinematic viscosity. So by referring this and with respect to 70 degrees centigrade and with respect to curve G or line G, the value of mm, kinematic viscosity is noted here as 36 centistokes. So this is the 70-degree point on the top abscissa, and from this, if I trace a vertical line up to the line G, there are different lines are also available here, G, E, F, like that, and along this particular line, you will be getting the value of Zk, which is centistoke kinematic viscosity. So that kinematic viscosity is noted here as 36 centistokes. So the same value is to be converted into meter square per second as per the SI unit. So Zk, that is kinematic viscosity, is 36 into 10 raised to minus 6 meter square per second. So this centistroke is converted into meter square per second by multiplying multiplication factor 10 raised to minus 6. So this is what the method of obtaining the kinematic viscosity. So once the kinematic viscosity is obtained, the next step is to go for the calculation of dynamic viscosity. How the dynamic viscosity is calculated? Dynamic viscosity is calculated as the product of kinematic viscosity and mass density of the liquid, that lubricant. So what is mass density? Rho into 10 raised to 3. Rho is specific gravity at the temperature given, that is what operating temperature. So this z is equal to zk into rho into 10 raised to 3 is available in equation number 15.1 e, page number 350. So the specific gravity at a specified temperature, that is 70 degrees centigrade, that we have to get. Again, refer equation number 15.1 f, page number 350 of the data handbook. So there we have an equation, rho is equal to rho 15, that is specific gravity at 15 degrees centigrade, specific gravity at 15 degrees centigrade, minus 0.00063 into T degree minus 15. So this is what T naught. T naught is nothing but T naught is nothing but the operating temperature at the uh, given, the operating temperature that is given. So that is T naught. T naught degree centigrade. So which is given here as 70 degree centigrade. So here the value of rho 15, that is noted from table number 15.1. At 15 degrees centigrade, the specific gravity of the SAE40 oil is 0.9275, and minus these values, so that the value of rho specified specific gravity of SAE40 at 60 degrees, 70 degrees centigrade is 0.8929. So this is the value at 70 degrees centigrade. At 70 degree centigrade. So this value is obtained here at 70 degree centigrade. Now let us proceed with the calculation of dynamic viscosity. So dynamic viscosity is given by the product of Zk, which is in meter square per second in SI unit, multiplied by the mass density of the liquid. So mass density is given by specific gravity multiplied by the density of the water, that is 1000. So this can be written as Zk into rho into 10 raised to 3 or divided by 10 raised to minus 3. Also we can write, it is written in the general design procedure. So you can take this one to the numerator so that it will become with a positive sign. So this is what the equation which is written here. So after simplification, what we get, the value of absolute viscosity as 0.03214 Newton second per meter square or Pascal second. So this is the method of getting the value of absolute viscosity. So this is the again the general design procedure. In general design procedure, this is the third main step. So in third main step, what are the things that we have to carry out? One is according to the given name of the oil, we have to identify or we have to get the name of the line. So with respect to that, specific gravity at 15 degrees centigrade also we have to list here or note down here. And then by referring figure 15.3 and with respect to the given operating temperature 70 degrees centigrade, suppose operating temperature is not given, in that case you can assume 70 degree itself. And with respect to curve, that is line G, so the value of kinematic viscosity that is obtained as 36 centistoke. So the equivalent value or conversion in terms of SI unit, that is meter square per second, you have to multiply this value by 10 raised to minus 6, or you have to divide that one by 10 raised to 6. So the next step is to get the value of absolute viscosity, where the absolute viscosity is the product of kinematic viscosity and the mass density of the lubricant, which is SAE40i. So here rho is a specific gravity. Rho is used here to indicate the specific gravity. In most of the cases, S is used to indicate the specific gravity, but here rho is used to, you have, as per the data and notation, we have to follow the same thing and multiply it by the density of the water, so that we are getting the value of rho. And the rho is what? Rho is specific gravity at a given operating temperature, that is 70 degrees centigrade. So that can be calculated by using equation number 15.1 F of page number 350. So that value is 0.8929. That is specific gravity. So the equivalent value of mass density is into 1000. So what is done here? So the value of absolute viscosity that is obtained as 0.03214 Newton second per meter square. Next comes the material for the shaft is given, as well as bearing material is also given. So shaft material is hardened steel and bearing material is Babbitt material. So by using these two values, we have to refer page number 365 of the data handbook and table number 15.6. So there we have the different materials used for shaft as well as journal, and the value of capital Zn, Z small n by P, and another one is capital Zn capital N divided by P. So there are two columns, so select any one of the value, say either capital Z, capital N or small n content. Say page number 365, table number 15.6, for the shaft as hardened steel and bearing as the Babbitt material. So the value which is noted here to be noted, that is Zn by P. That is what called as bearing modulus. Bearing modulus. So Zn by P value is 48.36 into 10 raised to minus 3. So by using this value, we have to get the value of pressure P. So pressure P is obtained as the product of Z into N divided by 48.36 into 10 raised to minus 3. So Z is absolute viscosity 0.03214, and small n is RPS value, that is 16.67 RPS, divided by the value of pressure, the given value of Zn by P. So that is 48.36 into 10 raised to minus 3. So the pressure value that is obtained here is 11.079 Newton per mm square. 11.079 Newton per mm square. Now after this, we have to go for the calculation of dimensions of the bearing. So dimensions of the bearing is nothing but the determination of diameter of the journal as well as length of the bearing. So to determine L and D, again we have to make use of the fundamental equation of pressure. Pressure P is given by W by L into D, or D is 2 times R into L. So available in page number 355, equation number 15.6c. Since L is 1.5 times D, which is given, so substitute L as 1.5 D, so that the value of D what is obtained here is 18.82 millimeters or mm. So the equivalent value is 20 mm. So that is converted value or rounded value. So the diameter of the shaft is 20 mm, and length of the bearing is 1.5 times small d, that is equal to 30 mm, and the radius of the journal is d by 2, that is 10 mm. This divided by 2, so that is 10 mm. So radius of the journal. So these are the another two values. So once you get these two values, next step is to go for the heat generation and heat dissipation calculation. So heat generation means we have to get the value of coefficient of friction first. So to get the value of coefficient of friction, we require uh, or we have to use either Petrov's or Mackey's equation. Before that, minimum film thickness is to be calculated. So Sommerfeld number is required. So Sommerfeld number is given by R by C whole square into Zn by P into 10 raised to minus 6 without side leakage case, and 15.6a equation, page number 354 of the data handbook. So here if I substitute all the values related to the equation, say R is 10 mm and C is 0.01, Z is 0.03214, into N is 1000 rpm, divided by pressure is 11.079 Newton per mm square, and 10 raised to minus 6 is the conversion factor. So this is the value of C calculated, and S obtained here is 2.9. Now with respect to minimum film thickness calculation, so refer the figure number 15.9, page number 356. Say as per the value of abscissa, that is 2.9, and beta is equal to 360 degrees, the value obtained H naught by C is equal to 0.66 or 0.65 or 0.64 also. So just refer, it is a graphical value. So that value is 0.66. So minimum film thickness H naught is given by 0.66 into C, that is radial clearance. So 0.66 into 0.01 is H naught, that is equal to 0.0066 millimeters. So this is the minimum film thickness. The next step is to calculate the coefficient of friction. So here the bearing is lightly loaded or heavily loaded, that is not specified. So for that we have to use Mackey's equation, assuming heavily loaded, and the equation number 15.4b of data handbook, page number 353. So the notations they are as usual. Ka is 0.195 into 10 raised to 6 for beta equal to 360 degrees, and delta F is 0.002 for the value of L by D less than 2.8 and greater than 0.75. So the value of F obtained here is 0.002948. And this we have to calculate the heat generated value. Heat generated is given by F into W into V. So F is 0.002948 and W is 5886 and V is pi dn by 60 into 1000, that is 1.0472 meter per second. So that heat generated is 18.171 joules per second. And next we have to go for the calculation of heat dissipated. So heat dissipated is given by Kp into L into D into 10 raised to minus 6, equation number 15.11c, page number 360. So Kp is Tb minus Ta plus 18 whole square divided by K3. So K3 is 0.484 and Tb minus Ta is nothing but T naught minus Ti divided by 2. So T naught is known and Ta is known. This is another equation where Tb minus Ta, that is rise in temperature, can be calculated with the known operating temperature and ambient temperature. So 70 degree minus 30 divided by 2. So difference in temperatures or rise in temperature is 20 degree centigrade. And this value is to be substituted in the respective equation. So that heat dissipated value is 1.79 joules per second. So once you get the value of heat dissipated, we have to compare heat generated and heat dissipated. Suppose heat generated is greater than heat dissipated, then we can say that artificial cooling is required. That means only 1.79 joules of heat that is removed from the bearing per second. But actual heat generated is 18.171, so which is greater than HD. Hence, the amount of heat that is to be removed, that is 16.39 joules per second. Therefore artificial cooling is required. So this is related to the uh, thermal uh, thermal equilibrium case or thermal stability. And as per the given statement, these are the steps that we have to follow. Check check the design for thermal equilibrium. So it is what the required thing. And power loss is nothing but as per the same Hg, heat generated itself, which is divided to be divided by. So this is the amount of which heat is to be removed, so that artificial cooling is required. So this is about the another kind of problem. So in the next session I will take application oriented problems where the machinery will be given for which we have to design the given bearing. Thank you.